How's it going, YouTube? Red Baron flying at you with another weekly deck breakdown. This week, we have Eagle the Duck's CAPREGAL Mid-Range deck. So let's dive on in and see what type of waves are being made. Alright, so here we have Eagle the Duck's Elestral lineup. But before we go into that, I want to explain exactly what a mid-range deck is. A mid-range deck is a deck that likes to ramp up in the very beginning, create that field presence, and then from the mid-game onwards, it wants to drop the big threats to your opponent and deal as much damage as possible. And water is very good at doing it. So let's look at all the Elestrals. So of course, he's running 3 CAPREGALs, right? Hence CAPREGAL Midrange. When he destroys an Elestral in battle, he's able to special cast an Elestral of 1 water from his underworld onto the field in defense position. Enough said. He wants to be able to attack and create even more field pressure as CAPREGAL stays alive. Going to Foamy. Yes, obviously 3 Foamies. This is probably one of his. This is the key card, one of the key cards in this deck. Foamy. When it is destroyed in battle, you can special cast an Elestral, an enchantment of 1 water from your deck in defense mode. So what does this mean? It means if Foamy dies, he sets up for next turn. So if he has CAPREGAL in his hand, he immediately is able to ascend into CAPREGAL and then continue onwards and then threaten his opponent. And of course, what's water without 3 galaxies? Galaxies, as long as it's enchanted, water Elestrals swap their attack and defense. This is a great card. He just needs to be careful about using it with CAPREGAL, because once Galaxy's on the field, CAPREGAL's attack and defense stats will swap, and then any Elestral will be able to get over it. Next, we have Aphros. Aphros is the water nexus. It'll allow him to get all the cards he needs, allows him that draw power. You can nexus up to 2, and when you do, draw a card for each water that a card receives this way. So max 2 cards. This is a fairly strong nexus ability. It's not the strongest, but it does what it does. And you can use this in place of Nectar of the Gods, and you won't have to cost any extra. Next, we have 2 Tadpuffs. Tadpuffs is a great choice when you're dealing with any 2 cost Elestrals. You special summon it by expending a water, and then you go straight into CAPREGAL. So a really good way. I mean, you special summon it, you get into CAPREGAL, Tadpuff goes to the graveyard, you attack something, destroy an Elestral, and then resummon the Tadpuff, and the next turn, if that Tadpuff survives, you can possibly go into a second CAPREGAL, which is crazy. Then you have kind of this text over here, which is really good text. You have the Crackhead tech. Crackhead tech, whenever it enters the field, Elestral cannot attack, and its effect is negated as long as this Crackhead is enchanted. This is a great card that many people won't see coming. So if you play Foamy and it gets destroyed, and it's a really strong Elestral on their side of the field, and you really don't want it to do anything, you just summon Crackhead. It won't be able to do anything. It can't attack, won't be able to activate its effect because it's suppressed and negated. Excuse me, this is using the wrong text, but it's not negated, it's suppressed. That is the new terminology. Or if their opponent has 2 Elestrals, one attacks into the Foamy, you summon Crackhead, and then you target the Elestral that hasn't attacked yet, and that completely ends their turn. Next is Sluggle. Sluggle is really great. He only has 1 of them in his deck, and that's fine, because if he's able to get that combo off with CAPREGAL and Sluggle, oh my god, he's going to be able to get life back like there's no tomorrow. Summon Sluggle, you heal 3. If you're able to protect the Sluggle and then ascend on top of it with CAPREGAL, attack, destroy an Elestral, you're able to summon this Sluggle back again from the underworld and heal 3 more. This is great. I love this card. It is definitely needed for the mid-range. Next, I believe this is kind of probably his more spicy tech. Because if you're not able to get CAPREGAL off, you will need to stall. And what card does that better than Mustation? Mustation 1/6, 6 defense. It's great. Not many cards can get over this without help. And also, if you needed to, you can supplement it with Galaxy, and then it becomes a 6 attack, 1 defense, Elestral, and it just pretty much bulldozes over anything. So, in order to get these pieces that he needs to be able to search. So, that's why he has Peliquarius. Peliquarius, I've seen a lot of debate about Peliquarius lately, and yeah, it's kind of being slept on. Peliquarius is good for getting all those water Elestrals that you need. If you have a Peliquarius in hand and a Caprigal, you use that Peliquarius to get your Tadpuff or Foamy. This will allow you to get Caprigal out the next turn. This is a great card, really good tech choice. So far from the Celestial lineup, I really like this. It has consistency. With first-hand experience, I played against this deck, and it is very good. If you allow Caprigal to go off with a Sluggle, there's literally no way to catch up. It's very, very hard. And if he gets 2 Afroses on the field, and they're just drawing, it's practically GG at that point. That being said, let's move on to his Divine Runes, his artifacts, and see what type of counter runes he's playing. Alright, so here we have what artifacts, Divine Runes, and counter runes that he is running. And he's pretty much running what you would typically run when running water. So of course, he has his triple Tsunamis, best card for water, unless you're playing against water itself, but one of the best counter runes. If you play it, pretty much stops your opponent's turn. He's also playing double Gorgon's Gazes, stops pretty much anything, stops effects, stops attacks, it just says no. Poison tipped arrows are obvious, allows when an opponent summons an Elestral, you play it, -2 attack, and then you destroy it at the end of the turn. Then you have Shield of Achilles, that when they attack, you expend 1 plus whatever their cost is, and it goes back to their hand. And then you have the Trident Lock package, Trident of Poseidon, and then you also have Poseidon himself. This is really good for him if he wants to play more aggressively with his Galaxy, or if he just wants to give his Caprigal a little extra boost. And it's also really good with this deck because Caprigal needs to attack. If it can't attack, it won't be able to get its effect off. So, in a meta where there's so much back row happening, Trident Poseidon and Poseidon himself is a must in this deck, and it has done wonders thus far. So, let's move over to his invokes, shall we? So, these are the invokes that he has in his deck. He has double Nectar of the Gods, double Drops of Leaves, double Ambrosias, double Earthquakes, and a single Rise from the Ashes. Now, I'll go over everything else, but I want to first mention this Rise from the Ashes. This is actually a really spicy tech, especially when you're playing cards like Sluggle. So, when you play Rise from the Ashes and you target a Sluggle from the Underworld, you're practically getting back the Elestrals you used from Rise of the Ashes. So you're not netting, but you're still going -1, just as if you're like normal casting the Sluggle, but you're not. You're special casting it, so that means you can then ascend into Caprigal, attack, and then get Sluggle back. So Rise from the Ashes is really good in this deck because there's barely any downside to it. And if he really needs to, he can Rise from the Ashes as Caprigal and then go from there. He also has double Nectar of the Gods, double Leaves to make sure he gets all those pieces that he needs. I'm not quite sure if he actually needs the drops in his deck, but a lot of people have been running this package, 2 Nectars and 2 drops, and it seems to be working out for him. He also has 2 Ambrosias. He doesn't need 3. He has a Sluggle. And that being said, he has enough Spirit Recursion for his deck. And for everything that his Trident Lock can't answer, he has double Earthquakes, and which almost should be in every deck, if not all. And yeah, this is, I'm looking at this deck right now, and I'm really, really liking this. I played against it a few times. It definitely hits home if you allow it to hit the field. There's almost no way to get over it with that CAPREGAL. And as you just take a look at the bottom for his spirits, he's running 17 Leviathans, 2 Terra Atlases for his Earthquake, and a single Lycaris for his Peliquarius. And this is his spirit deck and his main deck. There's just a lot of balance. I really like this deck. If you guys want a new water deck to play, go ahead, try this one out. Definitely recommend it. And if you guys want to be the spotlight for the next week, go ahead in the comments down below. Tell me what your favorite deck is and tell me what cards are in it, and I'll spotlight you for the following week. And of course, if you enjoyed what you watched, go ahead and subscribe and leave a like. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.